it's your girl, Hope your TV Movie Bestie, and I watch good shit. And I just got done watching this week's episode of Your Friends and Neighbors. Now, Coop, he's signing over the paperwork, so he is making his deal with Jack and Excelsior official. He goes home, and when he gets home, he's watching the movie. And I told y'all I like to try to figure out what the old movie is that he's watching. So this one is an old Hitchcock goodie, and it's called Shadow of Doubt. So y'all check that out because it's a good movie. Now, Elena, she calls Coop, and she actually ends up coming over. I heard about your dad. I'm sorry. He's like, thanks. I don't know how I'm doing, but I'm here. So they start to catch each other up. Elena's brother, he's been arrested. He got sent to jail. Since she couldn't get the money from Barney, she borrowed the money, and now her brother's on the run. Ash is blackmailing Coop because he caught him on video stealing from his house. And now he has to invest all his dirty money. Barney is trying to clean up their dirty money through Nick's gems. But Nick has taken Ash on as an investor, and now they can't get their money clean or out until the audit is done. Okay, everybody caught up now? Good. Moving on. Coop gets invited to spend the weekend with Ash and company in the Hamptons. And for some odd reason, he brings Hunter. Now, I know part of this is because Hunter and Delilah have this thing going on. And of course, she's going to be there because Ash is her daddy. But Ash in the Hamptons, I would not bring my minor child to that. Like, that just seems like a recipe for disaster or trouble. So Nick is also coming. Barney's coming. And he brings Grace. And I'm like, Grace, what are you doing here? This seemed very much like a boys' weekend. And you should be home nesting or something. They get to Ash's house. And of course, it's the Hamptons. It's gorgeous, So Ash, he starts talking to Barney and Nick. And he tells them that the audit is done. And it's smooth sailing from here on out. So Barney's like, okay, cool. What exactly happens now? And he has apprehensions because Ash says, well, we about to take over all y'all financials. And he's like, that's what I do. I run companies. And so he's like, yeah, I'll just put everything in my system and, we'll have one system for everything. And so Barney's just like, I don't know about that. Nick is like, look, Barney, chill. We just want to make this work. And he's like, come on, it'll be okay. And so Barney's like, okay, CC me on everything that is financial related. And Ash is like, okay, fine, cool. I'm like, Barney, maybe it's time to figure out some other kind of way to clean up this money. Because this whole Nick Jim situation is getting complicated. And I'm like, I just don't... what if Ash found out, or what if his lawyer finds out about their dirty money? And I'm like, it's too much dirty money. Like, ain't nobody got no legit money. It's just getting complicated. And I do not think this is the best way to go about doing it for any of them. So, and also Barney is like super nervous and he just freaks out about everything. And I'm like, again, Barney, you never should have got into bed with Coop and Elena. Like, they was doing just fine without you. Sam is there, of course, because, her and Ash are officially dating. And she offers her condolences to Coop about his father. And meanwhile, back at Mel's house, Mel, she home alone. Lori is wherever, because she don't live there no more. And Hunter's with Coop at this party, so she all by herself. And she just thought she would roll down memory lane, so she's hanging out in the 90s. And she's just listening to garbage, like, I'm only happy when it rains. She's also using this to drown out all the construction that's going on in the background. So she calls up Allie and, will you come over for the weekend? Because I'm so bored. And so Allie's like, okay, sure. Back in the Hamptons, Sam and Ash, they have this weird moment where Ash kills a deer. And Sam was looking at him, like, oh, it's a nice deer and everything. Ash is like, look, I know he seems cute and fluffy, but like, they're a threat to the Hamptons. They carry disease. Like, they cause more accidents than cars. And she's like, I don't like guns And he's like, oh, yeah, being her husband, ex-husband committed suicide. And everybody's back in the house. They're enjoying lunch, having this beautiful catered lunch. And boom, the FBI busts up in the party. And everybody's just like, what's going on? And Ash is like, I can't believe y'all here. Y'all starting this again. Da, da, da. And they just like, oh, so this is normal? Like, what's going on, Ash? So everybody freaking out. Ash like, yeah, it's cool. Don't worry about it. I got it. Do you? So back at Mel's house, her and Allie, they hanging out by the pool. And, they invite Tori by text. And so Tori's like, nah, I'm going to a party. And she's like, but thanks for the invite. And so, again, at least she talking to Mel. So cool. So back in Hampton, Sam, she's getting ready for Ash's party because at night he's having this big party. Everybody's coming. She started going through some papers and stuff because, the FBI, they've been in there and they've been rummaging around. Stuff's everywhere. And so she just started looking at stuff. There's this beautiful portrait of his wife who passed on the wall. She looks a little similar to Mel, so I guess that's his thing. But anyway, she's going through all the stuff. And so Ash come in. And he just kind of watched her for a while. And she sees that he has caught her. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And he's like, for what? And she's like, I didn't mean to be doing all this. And he was like, yeah, you did. And he said, but it's cool. He's like, I know the FBI came. That seems kind of weird. And he's like, so I get it. You're probably thinking, what the hell did I get into? And she's like, a little bit. And so she says, now might be a good time for you to tell me what it is you do. Why was the FBI here? And so he said, look, the FBI, they come here because they're working with Interpol. They're investigating me as part of Interpol. And he's like, I, have pushed the envelope a few times, but I've never committed any actual crimes. And he's like, so I make a lot of money and they think that I must be doing something illegal. And she's like, so what do you do? And he said, I told you, I do international freight. And she's like, yeah, and what do you ship? And he said, well, everything, flowers, phones, computers, anything, food. And she's like, weapons? And he said, yeah, that's the arms dealer, ain't it? He's like, yeah, so you're an arms dealer? And he was like, well, anybody can ship weapons. He's like, that don't make you an arms dealer. It doesn't, because I thought that was the exact definition of an arms dealer. He said, the U.S., they ship a lot of weapons. And so she was like, well, do you only do this shipping for the U.S.? Basically, he says, well, you can't make scrambled eggs without breaking a few eggs. Sometimes today your partner is tomorrow they're your enemy. And so I was like, that does not sound comforting. These are not the things I want to hear from my man when I just ask you, do you do illegal activity? Like, I'm getting involved with you. I don't want to go to jail, sir. So she's like, you know what? I think I need some water. She give him a little kiss. And she walk off. And he said, sometimes a kiss is kind of the opposite of a kiss. It's really like no kiss at all. So she comes back and, she give him a nice little kiss. She walks off. And when she walk off, she is like, what is going on? Like, she's very concerned. And so he is standing there and he's like, uh-oh. Like, he is very concerned too. Nick, he shows up to Barney's room and he's concerned. And he's like, Barney, what do we get ourselves into? And Barney's like, well, I didn't want to say I told you so, but I did warn you about this. And he said, look, when we get back home, I'll, get with our lawyers and look into this and see if we got any kind of wiggle room and I can get you out of this deal. And so Nick's like, oh, no, I don't want to get out the deal. He's like, this is still a lot of money, $30 million. And he said, I just want to know exactly what we're getting into. And so Barney's like, okay. Coop is out for a swim. And so Ash and his lawyer, they roll up on it. And Coop's like, what's going on here? And so he's like, I got an additional deal for you. Okay, what if you invest a lot more of my money and then I'll cut you in for 5% of everything? And Coop's like, well, it's kind of hard to make deals with people that's blackmailing you. Coop is like, furthermore, this is fraud. What you want me to do? And Ash is like, well, it depends on how you look at it. He's like, this is Wall Street. And so Coop is like, well, what if I say no? Ash says, well, talk to my lawyer. So he leaves. He's like, I got to get ready for the party. So the lawyer says, it's not an ask. And so Coop is like, well, what if I go get some lawyers and I go to the FBI? What then? And Ash's lawyer is like, well, typically that hasn't worked out so well for people. And so Coop is like, is that a threat? And the lawyer says, have a good time at the party. And he leaves. I said, Lord, Coop, you're getting deeper and deeper and deeper. The lady he always sells his stuff to, she was right. She said that there's an expiration date on blackmail. And she said, only you can decide when that is. And I'm like, Coop, you're like drowning. You're never going to be able to get out of bed with Ash now. So Coop, Barney, Nick, and Ash, they at the party. A lot of people showed up. It's a big, beautiful event. Ash bring over some Molly. They start doing it. He puts it in a drink. And they're like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, we're going to have fun. So Grace, she comes up to Coop at the party. And she confronts him. And she's like, look, I don't know what you and Barney up to. She said, but I don't like it. And she's like, one time you almost got Barney killed. And she said, if you put his life in danger again, I'm going to kill you myself. So Coop's like, Grace, Barney got a good one in you. And she's like, yeah, no shit. So Coop go inside and he sees Sam. And she's crying. And he's like, you okay? And she's like, do you really care? And he's like, okay, yeah, I do care. What's going on? Like, first of all, Ash killed this deer. I hate guns. Now he's got the FBI up his ass. Like, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. She asked Coop if he thinks that she's making a mistake by dating Ash. And Coop said, well, yeah, I think so. And she's like, what? And she said, well, you're like best friends with him now all of a sudden. So what about that? And he said, well, that's how I know you shouldn't be with him. And she's like, oh my gosh. Coop is like, look, it's okay. They get to hugging and then she says, it's nice to be able to talk to you about things like this. And he's like, yeah, come on, we were friends, kind of. And he's like, it wasn't all bad, our relationship. And she's like, you're right, it wasn't. And so then they start hugging and then they start kissing. And then they about to have sex. And I'm like, oh, what's Ash walking in on this? Like, Coop, you are done. He's like, wait. We need to stop. I'm really trying to not complicate my life with sex anymore. And let's just don't do this. And he's like, okay, that's smart. So they walk out together. But Ash sees them. Now, Ash is way up looking down on the party and he sees them coming out together. Now, they don't look like they've been necessarily doing anything, but y'all know Ash is well connected. He got them cameras everywhere. And I'm like, ain't no telling what else he saw before that. And I just think if he suspects anything is going on with Sam and Coop, I don't think it's going to be good for Sam or Coop. So Tori, she's at a party and she's getting wasted. She's about to go upstairs with the guy. And I'm like, Tori, please, no, honey, girl. But another guy comes in and he's like, Tori, I need you to move your car. I need to get out. And she's like, okay, I'll be back. So then I'm like, girl, are you even able to move your car? So she backs up her car and no, she's not. She backs slap on into another car behind her. And she's like, oh, whoops. And then here comes the cops coming down the street right as she's sitting on top of this other car. So I said, girl, well, you say you trying to figure out your life. You better learn some lessons today, my friend. So back at Mel's house, Mel and Allie, they're talking. They also getting wasted. I said, I should have got me a drink for this episode. So they start talking about how Allie is processing, her father's passing, and how Coop presents as a very highly functioning adult, but underneath he's really a hot mess. Just sitting there, and Allie's like, what is that? And she's like, it literally smells like shit out here. And Mel's like, welcome to my world. And she's like, yeah, first it was their dog. So then they started building a wall. And she said, to spite me, they took their porta potty that they have for their workers and they put it right at the edge of my property. So yes, that's what you smell. And Allie's like, what? No. So they go out to the porta potty and they try to push it fully into the neighbor's yard. And I said, uh-oh. Now, Mel, I'm with you on this dog situation. But this porta potty thing, first of all, it's a porta potty. That's disgusting. Do not touch that. And second of all, they gonna know you did this. Like, what's your game plan here? So they pushing. They can't push it. So Mel is like, just forget it. And Allie's like, because they've been drinking. And the liquid courage is coursing through Allie's body. And she's like, girl, we got this. So she back up, she start running, and she go full force and knock the thing over. So as soon as they do this, they bust out into laughter. Ha, we did it. Then the lights come on in the neighbor's yard and inside their house. And they're like, oh shit, run. So Allie takes off running. Immediately, Mel falls. I said, girl, you hadn't got 2 feet away. So not only did she fall, she fell in all the shit. And y'all, the way I scrapped, I said, like, girl, no, it ain't enough soap, hot water, or bleach in this world to get all of that off of you. So she just kind of, so she get up and she's sloshing around in it. And I'm like, burn everything. So the man and his wife come out and he's like, what the hell going on? Of course they can see you, Mel. So she takes off trying to run, but she's like covered in all this stuff. Of course they call the cops on her ass. I was like, Mel, what did you think was going to happen? So Allie took off because she told Allie, she was like, no, Allie, run, get away. And I was like, that's probably best for Allie because I'm sure, Allie can't get arrested. I don't think that would be good for her. So they call the cops. Mel gets taken off to jail. And guess who's her cellmate? Good old Tori. And I said, well, I guess this will help y'all bond. So as she's coming down, she's like, Tori, wait, that's my daughter. And they're like, ma'am, come on, we have a cell for you. So both of them in the slammer. And Coop, back at the Hamptons, he about to get him a little something. Allie called him and tell him about the girls. And he's like, what? So he's like, I'm going to have to postpone this. And so he tells Ash and everybody, he's like, look, I got to go. It's a family emergency. Mel and Tori done got arrested. And they're like, whoa, we definitely want to hear the rest of that story. And he's like, yeah, you and me both. So he's like, I'm going to get out of here. Ash says that his driver has gone for the night, but he can just take, one of the 500 cars that he has. And Coop's like, okay. And then Grace is like, whoa, you can't drive? And she said, look, I'll drive you because I'm the most sober person at this party. And I'm like, right, did you forget you took Molly? And y'all don't know what y'all doing. Coop, you probably run right into one of them deer. So Grace and him get in the car, they drive it, and sure enough, they almost hit a deer, but, they survive. Everything's good. So they get home. Coop bails Tori and Mel out, and they go home. And so now Coop is back at his house. He's again watching the movie. Now this time, he watched another good one. he watching a Jimmy Stewart movie called Harvey. And I said, this is the second time I done had a run-in with Jimmy Stewart this week. Earlier in Rooster, they referenced him in It's a Wonderful Life. So I got a little nostalgic for good old Jimmy Stewart. Coop's dad, he shows up while he's watching this movie. You know, he just sitting on the couch and he sees him. And he's like, what? And his dad don't say nothing. He just and sitting on the couch watching a movie. So later, Coop goes, he puts out the trash that night, and he notices this car down the street. And he's looking, and he's like, what's this car doing? And so all of a sudden, the car about runs him over, and then it just takes off. And Coop's like, what was that? So I'm like, Coop, you know, the last time you almost got ran over by a car, you almost got killed, like literally. And that was a whole mess in the first season. So Ash, you and Ash, this is not good. I'm worried for Coop. I really, again, I keep saying Ash is doing more than international freight shipping or whatever. And I just think Coop gonna get caught up. And I'm a little worried for him and Barney. Barney got a baby on the way. He don't need this. Grace is a no-nonsense woman. You know, she ain't gonna tolerate this. Yikes. And also, Mel, too far, girl. Like, I was with you. No, not the porta potty in the neighbor's yard, girl. Anyway, so what y'all think of this week's episode? Let me know in the comments below. I'm your TV movie bestie. Like, subscribe, and follow, and I will see y'all on the next show on the next episode. Bye, besties.